Hello there, I'm Stuart Bailie. Here we are on Gordon Street in Belfast. We're just outside the Music Centre, and this is a special, I guess you could call it a mini documentary, part of the Sound of Belfast Festival. It's our chance really to pay tribute to one of ours, a wonderful human being called Lyndon Stevens. He was involved in band management and mentoring. He was a great friend to so many of us. And sadly we lost him on January the 10th this year, and we thought this is a perfect opportunity really to kind of show how much we care. And there's an idea that's developing on the wall of the OEM Music Centre. All will be revealed in about 30 minutes in this little documentary. We're also going to have some music and conversation. Lyndon helped to guide the careers of people like Joshua Burnside, Kieran Lavery, Beauty Sleep, Cherem, Ryan Veal, Dark Tropics. He really did make such an impact, and we're trying to process that. But we're accenting the positive for this documentary, this experience. There'll be a beautiful reveal at the end of it all. But before we get there, here's some live music. This is Malojian and Walking Away. So Stevie, you are the man who came up with the original idea that Lyndon Stevens should go on the wall of Oh Yeah. Was it a light bulb moment, or was it just a random thought, or what?
Well, it was Lyndon's idea to put me up there as part of we did the Let Your Weirdness Carry You Home album together. And I think it was at the start of lockdown. I was in the house and I was thinking, he had told me at the time that the agreement was that I could stay there for a year and then it would have to come down. And I was thinking, if they're going to paint over it, why don't they paint Lyndon over it? And I know a couple of really brilliant street artists called Dermot McConaughey and Johnny McCure. So I gave Dermy a shout and he was up for it. So that was the ball rolling, and then the next step was you for your photo.
And it was a photograph that was taken in the stairwell upstairs.
Brilliant.
So I'm so glad that was it was almost like a casual, can I take a snap of you, Lyndon? And it's had its use. You tell a great story, Stevie. You used to do a bit of work around the Oh Yeah Music Centre, and every now and again you would see Lyndon at the doorway, and you thought he was giving you a dirty look. Isn't that the story?
He used to come out of the car park. So you do where you come out and you have to open it or whatever. But every time you come out, the guy I was working with would be smoking, so we'd be on a break. We were recording the first Malojian album up in Start together. And Bart would be on a smoke break, so we'd be standing outside. And every time I ran into Lyndon, he would just like give me this look. And I thought he hated me or something. He was like, why's that guy keep giving me dirty looks? And it wasn't until we started working together, I said to him, why do you used to give me them dirty looks? And he took his glasses off. It's like milk bottles, he couldn't see anything. So he was just trying to see who it was across the road.
Yes. So in terms of, we've so many talented artists in Northern Ireland, but not enough people to take care of business. And Lyndon was one of those rare people that understood the music industry. He didn't pretend to know it, he actually had taken years to learn how it worked and make those connections. How, as an artist then, how important was he for the local scene?
I think he was a catalyst for the whole behind the scenes thing, because he kept pushing things and reaching out to different people, and everything that he seemed to be working with was connecting, and then that brings in interest, and then just to watch him as well and see him bringing an idea from nothing to fruition, and it's cool seeing someone doing that, and it gives you belief. And as soon as we started working together, like, he was so supportive of me and saying that I was doing things myself anyway and he was just going to help me, and he gave me the belief then when it came to, I started working with Christopher and we were trying to get a record deal with someone else then, and it all didn't pan out the way we'd hoped. But partly because of the belief that Lyndon had in me, I said, let's try and do it ourselves. So we started Style Records. So that was sort of like whenever we were doing this and we were talking to Charlotte and the Oh Yeah about doing it here and all, she thought it would be really cool, which it would, to get some of Lyndon's other artists involved. And I was like, happy days, yes, the more the merrier. And then when I thought about it, it was like, do you know what, if this was Lyndon, he would be pushing his own artists. And because I'd been trying to help Christopher, it was like, would you mind if we use Christopher as the second artist here? So,
tell us a little bit about Christopher then.
Oh man.
Explain who he is and his name and talk us into it.
His name's Christopher Coll. I played at the opening of the Boneyard record shop in Oma a few years ago, and he was sitting here and he came up afterwards and he was really shy and unassuming and really complimentary, and that was all cool. And I asked Mark who he was and all. He seemed like a really nice guy, and I found out that he had, I can't remember how, I must have been talking to him online or something and found out he was a musician as well, and I found my way to his Bandcamp, and he had like 30 albums on his Bandcamp, and he hadn't even mentioned that he was a musician. And I downloaded 2 of them, I bought 2 of them and downloaded them and totally fell in love with his music. And the next time I met him, myself and Mark were doing a show in the Sunflower one Friday night, and he came along again and he came up and he was complimentary again. And I said to him straight away, I'm so embarrassed to be speaking to you even about my music. Like his lyrics, and he's an absolute genius, but he's also a genius illustrator, an animator, a filmmaker. He's finished one novel and he started at least a couple more. I'm just trying to help him at the minute really, so there's no pressure from him, and we're trying to keep things cool.
The final track that you're performing for this Lyndon tribute is a track called The Singularity, and it's from the Hum album, and my understanding is it was the last track that was written for that album, and that you brought the album forward a little bit. Everyone postponed the releases of their albums apart from Stevie Scullion and Malojian, and you pushed it out there because in a weird sense the tone certainly of that track, it was about us going through lockdown. Now, it chimed with the times. Did you feel that?
Yeah, well, what happened was I had a meeting with Jason Lytle from Grandaddy, who I made the album with, and like a Skype meeting. It was a Friday night, and it was just maybe a week or two into lockdown, maybe more. He was in lockdown in LA, and I was in my home here, and we just got the masters through, and a guy called Greg Kelby mastered the album, who is like the ninja of all ninjas of mastering. He mastered Gracelands, and the amount of Grammys he's got is insane. So we were both really, really excited about how good the album sounded, how good the masters sounded. And we were like having this Skype meeting, and I said to him, look, I've just written a new song today, just finished a new song today. If you fancy it, we could try and finish it really quickly, because we were both in the house doing nothing, you know. And I wrote it finished writing it on the Friday, and I think we released it on the Monday. And so it's not actually on the album, because the album was mastered and done, you know, it was ready to go to print. It's on the digital version of it. But because of what the song's about, and because of what we were going through, we said, come on, put it out. And then when we put it out, we were buzzing from that and said, you know what, just let's put the album out.
So Lyndon has left so much with us in terms of his spirit and his method and his humour and his left field way of looking at the world. How can we best take those parts as musicians and creative people and people who work in the industry? What can we bring forward and to continue that?
I'm not sure. The thing that I would take away from is that, like, the music industry is so hard, you don't know what's going to stick. And if, like, we tried a few things and it didn't really work, but it was his positivity, you know, he didn't let it get him down. He was just like, you could see him thinking for a second, he'd go, we'll do this. And straight away he would have another way to go, and maybe that didn't work out, but that didn't get him down either. You know, it was like, it's more of a way of life rather than there's the target and you have to get it or else you're defeated. There was no sort of sense of defeat with him, you know.
He was irrepressible, really.
He was cool. That's one of the things from lockdown, actually, that I kept thinking about. I would love to have just had a chat with him about the current state of things, because no matter what you started talking about, it would turn into this deep philosophical thing. You'd be like, you have to read this book, and have you heard about this? And, you know.
Yeah. Stevie, thank you very much.
Thank you, Stuart.
One of the great strengths of Lyndon Stevens was his enthusiasm for new music. And in that spirit, then, we're going to give you two songs from an upcoming artist. His name is Christopher Coll.
The artist's hand, it works upon a portrait of the past, but tries to erase the darkness in the shadow cast, and that shadow just grows longer and darker by the day, a blueprint for a chalk outline of where we'll aim to lay. The mind is our own TV show with a lifetime of a cast, but the signal's hitting problems and the picture doesn't last. The products that they're selling, they are on the shelves no more. The stories that they're telling, we have heard them all before. The black doorway lies ahead. Can we defy where we're led? The years, they bring a silence to the table where we sit, and the wonder on our minds is this the end of it? The waking from a dream, the departure from the train. Was it all as it should have been? Would I do it all again? And if it's all a dream, then it's to wake up just to die, is to say hello to the aftermath, just to really wave goodbye. Does a mind that's full of questions tell us nothing here makes sense? Is the secret to eternal bliss to live in ignorance? We swallow medication, but it doesn't change a thing. The mood is sailing back and forth forever on its swing. The old-hearted is dying as the mind pretends it's young, but slowly it is writing a swan song to be sung. And the dying eyes fixate upon the hands that walk the clock, an endless march in circles, a parade that doesn't stop, a companion there eternally when we wake until we sleep, tells us of mortality although he never speaks. The black doorway lies ahead. Can we defy where we're led? You spend so many years aged and gray, come to believe that you've always been that way. That younger man you do not recognize, he's just a stranger in your eyes. So let's head back out to sea. There's no one left here for us to be. Let's just toss our memories into standing tall. Tell passers-by I don't know him at all. No one responds, they all just come and go. You're just some figure they do not want to know. So let's head back out to sea. There's no one left here for us to be. Let's just toss our memories into the ocean. Ask God, am I living just to die? Come the evening and there's still no reply. Say a prayer for an everlasting sleep. Make a wish for a soul to keep. Say a prayer for an everlasting sleep. Make a wish for a soul to keep. And let's head back out to sea. There's no one left here for us to be. Let's just toss our memories into the ocean, back into the sea.
There he is, there's the dude. Surveying his kingdom.
He's like, I'm going to make a few changes right here, folks.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things you wish you'd taken a better photo or whatever, but it is what it is.
Photo's great, that's why it's been used so much.
Yeah.
Are you serious about fun? You know, you capture
Yeah.
the seriousness.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you took it very seriously.
Yeah.
It's really fitting that Lyndon's kind of face is going to become part of the cityscape. I mean, for me, Lyndon and the city of Belfast are, as we like to say, inextricably linked. And in a way, I feel the city isn't the same without him here. You know, you feel that way when you lose people. But at the same time, there's a bit of Lyndon that will always be in Belfast. And as we know, the legacy of music lives on. But it's just so nice that he's going to be remembered in this way. He's a big fan of graffiti, a big fan of art, a big fan of all kind of street art. And he really saw the connection between street art, street fashion, music, and the kind of the tribe of youth, if you like. And the big impact, the impact that had, you know, the coming together of all those things. So as you know, in Lyndon's life, at times he was a clothes shop owner, times he was a DJ, times he ran events. And then of course when he went into artist management and running his own record label, it was really like he brought all of these things together, you know. But to go back to the graffiti, it's a really nice tribute, and I think a really fitting one as well.
And he was quite a mischievous person. He enjoyed any opportunity to market and promote in a kind of a left field way. So the idea, and it was Lyndon's idea, to have the Malojian mural on the wall, and now his image is going beside that. So I would imagine he would have thought there was great sport in that gesture.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he certainly liked the unconventional, and he didn't think there was any point in doing something that everybody else was doing. You know, let's do something different and let's do it better. You know, so yeah, I think that's true. I think it does tap into the mischievousness and the passion as well. You know, do something brave, do something, you know, do something memorable, do something brave. That's what, you know, that's what graffiti artists are known for, and that's something would have sat very well with him, I think.
You know, we all are trying to digest the musical legacy that Quiet Arts Records and all the other projects that Lyndon launched have had, and I guess my answer to that is that the work goes on, you know, and the people that he helped to train and to give confidence to, and the artists that he gave a platform to. I think that legacy is very evident and very positive, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say two things. I mean, first of all, you know, Lyndon didn't stay in the kind of, you know, DJ rave graffiti art mindset. He grew up with his art and with his music, and you know, part of that was developing the record label, developing artists, and you know, I suppose I don't want to take away from the dance music scene at all, because it was so innovative and still is. You know, electronica obviously was the revolution in music that he witnessed in his lifetime. So it's no surprise that he was right on the cusp of it. But I think in later, you know, towards the end of his sadly shortened life, you know, that he really invested in music that had a maturity and a depth to it that actually was timeless. You know. And the combination of both those things, I think, sum Lyndon up, you know, kind of revolutionary and, you know, an anarchist in a way, but also understanding what traditionally makes things good, you know, and how things can be timeless.
Yes.
And he really believed that about the city and about the quality of musicianship and art that there is in Belfast. He wasn't into supporting local because it was local. You know, he didn't give a damn. He was into, you know, getting local people to understand your art's world class. And you need to understand that, and you need to display it as such. You know, there was a great pride that he had in the city. And
we're here at the OEM Music Centre, and there was a bit of on-off with Lyndon. There's a couple of times he wanted to come in, and you know, the stars weren't quite aligned. And then there was the moment where he came in and he set up shop and he moved all his stuff in, and he so belonged here, and he added so much to what is going on in the music hub, you know, so I think it's beautiful that the gesture is happening on the walls of this building as well. I mean, this building, obviously it has sentimental attachments because Lyndon worked here all the time, and we had a party after our wedding here, and so many different memories caught up with the building. It's also iconic in the sense of the musical history of the city. You know, we used to come and get our CDs here, you know, when we were stocking up the record shop or whatever, you know, because of the history and the history of the music studio upstairs and all of that. So yeah. It's beautiful actually that his face will be kind of part of the building. And I think as well it's funny what you say about, you know, how things will live on. Lots of people will be thinking, obviously Lyndon, you know, he died before COVID happened, before the pandemic kind of took hold, and I'm sure there's a lot of people. Lyndon was always on the phone advising people, helping people, you know, artists or whatever, DJs, anyone in the business, you know, he gave a lot of good advice. And I'm sure there's a lot of people thinking, oh, I'd love to pick up the phone to Lyndon now, just ask him, you know, how am I going to navigate through this? How am I going to survive? What are we going to do? But in a way, it's like, he's already told them, they already know. You know, and that's nice to think about that, you know, because he was into doing things in the face of adversity, in the face of the current going the other way. You know, he was really good at being able to say, yeah, and all those things are really hard and difficult and impossible and all, but if you're good enough and your music's good enough, you're still going to make it. It's still going to work, you know. So it was all about just be the best, be brilliant, you know, and also tie the things in together. Don't just have a brilliant song, have brilliant artwork, you know, have a whole package that's brilliant, and then, you know, then it speaks for itself. Lisa, thank you very much. So we've almost come to the end of this special tribute to Lyndon Stevens, but we thought we'd give you some more music before we go. And Malojian brought his album Hum forward in the schedules to coincide with the the lockdown, the first lockdown, and with good reason, because this track, the last track that he recorded for the record, is called The Singularity, and it really resounds with the pain and the difficulty that many of us have suffered, but also a blazingly great piece of music. Here we go then. This is Malojian and The Singularity.
Plug your phone in for a while. Watch the bars go up and smile. Never need to leave your home. These days kids play on their own. It's all around you now. The machines that cloud all surround you now. Is there anyone here who can heal the trembling of my heart? If I show you my fears, could you heal the trembling of my heart? Hold on, disease, for the singularity. It's all around you now. The machines that cloud all surround you now. Is there anyone here Here comes the bomb now, here comes the windows. Just keep your head down, they're coming in. If you feel your spirit waning, don't be shy now, take my hand. 'Cause here comes the bomb now, here comes the windows. Just keep your head down.